we are going to have to deal with the problem of lawfare. That's one of the reasons I created this channel. It's just to talk about things in a way that hopefully will get people to think about things in a different way. I think we're way too stuck with the way things are. I'm sure anybody who's watching right now for sure has heard about the controversy with Jimmy Kimmel's joke about telling Republican or Trump voters to vote on Thursday. Yes, it was a joke, and we accept it as a joke, and we don't take jokes seriously. No, we don't take jokes seriously. The other side, not so much, because I'm sure you are also aware of the problems created for Douglas Mackey, the meme artist, I think on Twitter back then, who sent out a meme suggesting that Hillary voters can vote by text back in 2016. Well, apparently he just finished a 7-month sentence for the crime of a joke over a tweet that I think they said was only seen by 100 people and probably his own followers. So yes, lawfare is very real and it is very one-sided. But it's not the one-sidedness because it's always Democrats that do this that bothers me the most. It's one-sided because it's only the government. I mean, criminal prosecution right now is exclusively the domain of the government. And is it that way just because that's how it's always been? Maybe we should think about this a little bit. Maybe people should be able to argue criminal cases in the courts. Now, granted, this is a very expensive proposition. It wouldn't necessarily be an individual person, but a legal foundation or an organization that, playing by the same rules as the government, could bring, essentially, a criminal case to the courts. I get it. There are risks involved because this would be something that is open to everybody, but I think it's something that's worth exploring. Now, naturally, they would have to bear the entire cost of this, obviously the cost of the prosecution, plus all of the court costs, the judge's salary, renting the space, the stenographer, the bailiffs, maybe even potential pretrial detention if that is warranted for this particular case. There you go. Well, that's at least one huge barrier that a lot of people would have to overcome. But if an organization, a legal foundation, raises the money to do this, then maybe haven't the people spoken? We'll talk about that some other time. One thing is, if there's a system like this and the people can actually bring collectively criminal cases, we would not be so reliant or solely reliant on the capriciousness of the prosecutors to enforce the law. Something that Kamala Harris has actually admitted to with the stroke of her pen. Very, very alarming. And like I said, the same rules that the government has to follow in these prosecutions, the people's entities, maybe we should call them something like that, would still apply, right? I think a structure like this would ensure that the laws would be applied more evenly because, well, in a case like this, Jimmy Kimmel might think twice because there might be someone else out there who's not a very Democrat-friendly and corrupt prosecutor might actually bring a case against him because there is precedent for doing this. And having laws applied evenly is a cornerstone of democracy. Look at what happened in New York. The very suspicious, I'll say, and corrupt prosecution of President Trump. They changed laws just to prosecute him. And a lot of people were saying, oh no, this is going to ruin the business climate in New York. But it hasn't really yet. Why? Well, it's because everybody doing business in New York knows that they changed these laws just to prosecute President Trump, and they have no intention of going after anyone else. Yet. That is the key. But they're not worried now because they know the game. Now, I actually first started thinking about this during the patent wars back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when these patent trolls would sue the companies always with the deep pockets. And I thought, you know what? If these companies, they have deep pockets, and the patent system really is about innovation, shouldn't they be able to identify other people who are infringing the patent? I mean, if the plaintiff is so worried about their intellectual property being stolen, well, then everybody who's stealing it really needs to be a party to this. And that would be kind of a private advocacy, something like this. So, yeah, people collectively bringing criminal prosecutions. An interesting thought, because a truly high-trust society depends on the even application of the law, the fair application of the law, and, of course, law and order. And something that's so important, like the law, maybe that shouldn't be entirely at the discretion of the government. You know I'm right. So go ahead and subscribe, or follow, so you can see me in the next one.